Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for April 10th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to start off with sort of an interesting one here. There's been a lot of hullabaloo in the last few days about this one. This is Batman and Red Robin number 19. This is another one of our gatefold covers. Yep. And it's supposed to be, the WTF month, What the 52. And I guess your reaction to the introduction of Carrie Kelly might be, what's 52?
Yeah.
They're introducing Carrie Kelly, the Robin from Dark Knight Returns. Kind of interesting. Peter Tomasi has said she's not Robin. They are merely introducing Carrie Kelly.
Right.
The cover does in fact say Batman and Red Robin. Doesn't mean that there isn't a Red Robin in here. Doesn't mean that Tim Drake isn't in here. I'm sure that's what's going on. But this is the introduction of Carrie Kelly, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
This is a neat opportunity for them to be able to do such things in the new 52. Mm-hmm. Introduce characters that you've got around. Yeah. Why not? You've gone ahead and gotten rid of so many other characters that existed. Everyone's got their panties in a twist about Stephanie Brown, as we were talking. Yeah. But how come nobody got their panties in a twist about Carrie Kelly ever not being in the universe when she was just always in this distant dystopian future? So now we have her. Kind of interesting. So that's first appearance there.
And it's it's a way to shake things up a little bit and play around with some things. Now that there's no Robin, they can play around with a lot of different things in his absence.
Kind of neat. Yeah. I'm looking forward to reading that one. Then I've got Legend of Oz, Wicked West, number 6. This is the ongoing series. I've always got good things to say about this book. I think it's really fun. I like the approach to the whole Wizard of Oz thing. I've not read the last issue, so I am a little bit behind. So I got to figure out exactly what's going on here. And it looks like they're going more into the mythos than just... I'm just, an ignorant kid who knows the movie.
Right.
The original movie that I grew up with. I still haven't even seen Oz the Great and Powerful.
Didn't miss a lot.
I heard it was good. I don't get out to the movies a lot. I did see Evil Dead this weekend.
It was all right. It was decent.
Okay.
I not enough Sam Raimi for me.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
fair
then
enough.
again, a lot of Sam Raimi's not going to do well in a movie that's kind of targeted at kids. So I guess I can understand that decision very well.
Right. Speaking of Sam Raimi, though, I did like Evil Dead.
Yeah. Good.
I thought it was fun. I thought my audience was a little weak. Yeah. I mean, when the person gets their hand infected and very clearly has to chop their hand off, why no pop? When you see the chainsaw, why no pop? Like, why didn't anybody in that theater yes? None of that. It was just like, oh, we're watching a movie. Well, no, you're watching a remake of a movie, and you should get excited about the things that are the movie that that was remade. And no one really cared.
So the movie was good, the audience sucked.
The audience kind of sucked. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed myself, though. And there's a scene at the end that was sort of reminiscent of the ending of Dead Alive. Because they've made a point to say that there's no CGI blood, it's all practical, stage blood.
Oh, that's good.
And there's a great scene where it's just like that. And I mean, no lawnmower, no zombies, but blood everywhere, and kind of cool.
I haven't had a chance to see it. I haven't seen anything in a while.
Check it out.
Oz. I saw Oz. I'm probably not going to see anything until Iron Man, to tell you the truth.
All right, fair enough. I'm looking here at, this is a movie that's going to be coming up later in the year.
Yeah.
Looking at Thor, God of Thunder. This is issue number 7. This is God Bomb Part 1, so I guess the previous issue was because the 5 sort of wrapped up that God Slayer thing, and then 6 seemed like it was kind of the beginning of something, but I guess maybe that was sort of the epilogue to the other, and now they're pushing along with the next part of what they're doing. Cool stuff, though. I really like this art. I like what Jason Aaron's doing. I think it's a really strong Thor book. Looks like Naked Thor, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
I wasn't prepared for Naked Thor.
Either. Well, that's quite a hammer.
I am not touching Mjolnir.
I did say that Marvel box set came out. The Avengers Phase 1 that's got the previews of the Phase 2 stuff, Thor and stuff like that. All of it's popped up online, so there's absolutely no reason to buy this box set except for to have a neat little light up cosmic cube. But the stuff that's in there for Thor and for the Guardians of the Galaxy all looks pretty good.
Right on. I'm getting kind of excited about that stuff. Then I've got Fearless Defenders. This is issue number 3. I haven't read issue 2 yet. Admittedly, I'm behind. I got this crush on Misty Knight. I'm going to keep reading it. I'm going to keep going. I like the idea of a Danny Moonstone, Misty Knight, and Valkyrie. Yeah. But it's really all about Misty Knight.
Right. I mean, it's kind of interesting. They took, the Defenders, which is a classic Marvel brand, but they're, giving it this kind of kick-ass, all-female team, which is sort of a neat idea.
It is kind of a neat idea. And, it's one of those things that they're constantly trying to push the idea of strong female characters and we don't know what to do. And now they went through this whole thing where Bullseye was a chick, and then they made Loki a girl. Yeah, and so now you got this kick-butt team of chicks, and you got that X-Men book coming up with a kick-butt team of chicks.
That's right.
So maybe they are realizing that they can do more with their target audience and having boys who want to see some kick butt chicks, and lots more girls coming into the store, which is a positive thing. So you got to have some stuff for them on the shelves too.
And Marvel's got a lot of really, really solid female characters.
Agreed.
So it's about time they get a little spotlight.
Although, admittedly, a lot of my female customers buy the weird stuff.
Really?
I've got girls that come in and buy Deadpool and Bedlam. Girls buy Crossed all the time.
Dude,
That's
some scary girls.
I've got some scary girls in here that are manlier than me. Apparently, I don't know.
I know I can't take Crossed.
No, me neither. Then I'm looking at Avengers Arena number 7. This is more fun with killing the young Avengers. Mm-hmm. This is you put them in a battle royale, Hunger Games sort of scenario, and then you slowly kill them off.
Who's doing the art on that?
I don't know who this is now. This is Alessandro Vitti. This is not the same person that was doing it before. Yeah. This is different art. This is a little bit more cartoony than what was going on before. But I like this book. I think it's interesting. It's it's characters I don't really care that much about. So when they die, it's not that big a deal. But I like Arcade, and I like they've given Arcade something to do.
Yeah, because not only does Marvel have a lot of good kick-ass female characters, they just got a lot of characters. So they can get rid of a few.
Kill some off. That's quite okay. Then I've got Mars Attacks number 9. This has got another one of those trading cards in it. Destroying a dog is this one here. Jamming a stick through an alien's head there. Kind of interesting. Or I should say a Martian as opposed to an alien. A little more specific. Right. This has been a fun book. We should be kind of wrapping up the second story arc. They seem to be going in story arcs of 5. This is issue 9, so we got one more to finish the arc. It's a fun book. It's a really, really fun book. I do wish they'd quit bagging it, though. Yeah. But whatever. I guess they got to get that card in there somehow. Yeah.
They could bind it in.
Because people are just losing it anyway once they open it, but whatever. Next up, we're going to get into some of this Valiant stuff. I'm looking at, this is Archer and Armstrong number 9. Mm-hmm. Really like this book. This is more of that battle with Eternal Warrior, and they're trying to save the Geomancer, and looks like maybe we got someone else in there. So I think I missed the 8 somehow. I think I fell behind on that one, so I got to go back and read 8 or reread 8 if I haven't read it, or if I have read it. Just a cool book. I'm liking Archer and Armstrong a lot. I think it's a better book than it was in the 90s, and I liked it then. It was fun, but now we've got fun and adventure. A little bit more adventurous than the first one was. And I think it's a strong book. I like how they've introduced the Eternal Warrior in there and making him kind of a main character in the book. I don't know that I need an Eternal Warrior book. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to put him in the Archer and Armstrong book regularly, totally down with that.
Good plan.
Then I'm looking at Harbinger number 11. This is continuing the Harbinger Wars, which just started last week. And that's going to be tying into Bloodshot as well as Harbinger. Our guys are going in. Our team's going to try and help a bunch of kids escape. Bloodshot seemingly did the same thing. Pete Stanchek looks like he's on some kind of collision course with Bloodshot. So that's going to happen at some point. But we shall see. I like that we've got more standard. I didn't really like this. Kind of that digital art in that Harbinger Wars. Story was good. I just didn't love the art. This is Carrie Evans doing stuff and just fantastic stuff. Carrie Evans and Trevor Hairsine. Good book. I like the Harbinger book. It's probably my favorite. That and Exo-Man of War are probably vying for my favorite title over there at Valiant. Then I've got this one. Just completely flew out of here. I was going to use a different word, and I probably should not use the word I was going to use. So we've got Sex number 2. This is kind of a strange, futuristic story about sex robots. That first one, there's some crazy stuff going on in there. I think the art's great. They toned the colors down a little bit in this one. The colors were real bright in the first one. I liked it. But they've toned it down a little bit in this one. It's a book titled Sex.
Yeah.
It's, of course that's going to fly out.
First we got Naked Thor, then we just got Sex.
So it goes, I guess. Then I'm looking at, this is one that I talked briefly about last week. We got Walking Dead 109. You've got, everyone was kind of panicking. Well, what are we going to do? There's a tombstone on the cover. Does somebody die? Well, this is the beginning of the next story arc. 108 kind of gives us the idea that, was his name, Eugene, or whoever the guy with the burned face from Negan's camp, he's turned on Negan in 108. At least that's what it looks like. He's come to Ezekiel. He's telling them that he's going to be their inside guy. Well, now we jump to 109 where some things are going on, and Jesus has gone to the hilltop, and he's trying to include Maggie in what's going on here. So you've got Maggie and Sophia on the cover in front of a tombstone, I guess I won't ruin your fun if you're not caught up from 8 issues ago, but I mean, it should be very clear what happens here and what that tombstone is. And I don't want to ruin your fun, but no, nobody dies. But it's a great book. This issue, I mean, starts us to where we're going. Jesus comes back. He's trying to include Maggie in what's going on. Maggie's dealing with the Hilltop stuff. They've introduced a couple other characters to her and talking to her what's going on. And, there's some stuff. Jesus has to be a little bit careful about who he talks to even on the Hilltop, because what if the Hilltop has somebody, that's reporting back to Negan? How has Negan been a step ahead of them the whole way? So they're trying to put their thing together and introducing us to characters on the Hilltop, which I think is great.
I just watched the TV show, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, fair enough. That's the bulk of my stack. What do you got?
I'm going to start off with Invincible Universe #1. I wasn't real sure what this is, but it is pretty much like the title says, more stories set in the Invincible Universe, which in many ways is the Image comic superhero universe. Image is sort of where Invincible is really the heart of that. And over 100 issues, he's built up a really, really significant supporting cast.
However, his supporting cast couldn't sell books.
Right.
You can't sell a book with Brit on the title. We couldn't sell a book with Tech Jacket on the title. Astounding Wolfman didn't do well. And then when they combined them all together for Guarding the Globe, that didn't sell well either. Darn it, we got a good idea here. Let's ditch the stuff you don't understand and put Invincible on the cover.
Yeah.
That's what they've done.
And smart move, because this is the first one of those that has been in my stack. And
it was in my stack too, and we divvied it up, and it ended up in yours. Yep. So, it's one of those things that people are more likely, I think, to pick up a book with Invincible on it.
No, it's got both the Invincibles on here.
Oh, cool.
It's Phil Hester and Todd Knock, both guys who've done some really fine stuff in the past. So let's give it a shot. Looks like we got a big Fin Fan Foom looking dragon in there too. So hopefully this will be a lot of fun. Next up, Age of Ultron, Book 5. This has been a pretty solid series, a classic, almost 90s style, like the Authority and the Ultimates and things like that, because Hitch is doing the artwork. Looks like we got some old school White Nick Fury in here too, so he hasn't been around in a while. The Avengers have wound up in the Savage Land. Ultron is still has taken over the world, and they've got a plan. It looks like we got some old school Iron Man armor here. This is just kind of classic Marvel big action event. I mean, this is not like X-Men versus Avengers, where you're going to get some politics or Civil War or things like that. This is at least
Siege.
So far, it's none of that. So far, it's hey, there's a bad guy. The bad guy's winning. We're going to have to do something about that. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, quick, fast-moving story. Some people are complaining about that. But, if you like that style of big, what is it? They used to call it widescreen comics, real kind of cinematic, big story, stuff like that. So, still a lot of fun.
My only complaint about it is, if you're going to give me 3 issues a month anyway, why didn't we just wait the 3 months and give me a trade?
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of explore if that's even a viable thing. Just put a trade out. Why? Just put the trade out for $19.99 and see if people buy it.
I don't want to take a chance on something like this, especially when you have to pay Brian Michael Bendis and Itch a lot of money. They got to maximize that investment. My only problem is I don't like the way that they broke up the art in Avengers vs. X-Men. I thought was pretty good. This one we've got Hitch, who I like a lot more than Brandon Peterson, who's coming on to do the last half of the book. Okay. For me, I would prefer you start weaker and end stronger rather than the other way around. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of people who like Brandon Peterson more than Hitch. So, it's however you're going to do it. But either way, we get 2 pretty solid artists on this book. And it looks like it's coming out on time. Yeah. It's coming out very, very quickly, which is nice.
Yes, it is.
Next up, we've got Mark Miller and Dave Gibbons' Secret Service. I do believe they have announced they're moving ahead with a movie on this.
Of course.
No surprise there. Matthew Vaughn is the co-plotter. This is the reason why he didn't direct X-Men First Class #2, or
because he's trying to do this.
Because they've been working on developing this as a movie, which was obvious from the moment Mark Hamill was on page 1 of the first issue. I actually haven't read the previous issue of this, so I don't know how it's tying into that big story with the science fiction guys. But is this the last issue? Would this be the first time a Mark Miller book finishes before the movie comes out?
Wow, that's nearly unheard of.
But I don't know. Let me see. It says end.
Imagine that.
So yeah, we're actually going to get the book finished before the movie comes out. Good for you. Whether or not I'll read it before the movie comes out, I don't know. But it's still been a fun series.
It's nice that the screenwriter doesn't have to write their own ending. That's always helpful.
And Dave Gibbons is really knocking it out of the park on this one. I mean, he's
his artwork looks great.
Always done great stuff, but this is really nice, clean stuff. He's sort of back to top form. Really, really good stuff. Next up is a book that I'm enjoying a lot more than I thought I would, which is Fantastic Four. Last issue had a really neat little one and done story that went back to ancient Rome and Julius Caesar and tied it in with some alien stuff. Really a lot of fun. This is so different from Hickman's book, and that's why I really like it a lot. Like I said, they're one and done issues so far. I'm sure they're all going to feed into a bigger storyline, but Fraction is you always have a question with Fraction. You're going to get good Fraction. You're going to get kind of iffy Fraction. And this is good Fraction, but still very different Fraction than the other Fraction book that's a little bit later in the stack here. Actually, no. You know what? It's not my stack. So.
Did you not put it in your stack? So, did I put it in my stack?
Did you?
I don't know that I did, but we can...
Let me grab it. We'll just do it now.
We both missed it somehow because of the cover.
The other Fraction book is Hawkeye. It says I love Hawkeye, and I do love Hawkeye, even though I somehow missed it. Put it in my stack. But this has got David Aja back.
Great art, great book.
Fantastic artwork. We've said so many times, this is such a different book, such a different vibe than really any other Marvel book on the stands. It's almost got a strange indie vibe. It's even very different from the Iron Fist book that these guys did before. There's a lot more humor in it, a lot lighter. It's street level in a very different way. It's not kind of grim and gritty. It's almost similar.
It could be a TV show.
Yeah, very much so. But it almost feels a little bit more in tone like with what Wade's doing on Daredevil.
Yes.
It's not necessarily bright and happy and fun, but it's certainly not dark and gritty. But it's definitely a great book.
Yes.
Next up, we've got Batman number 19. Let's see, what's our gatefold here? Oh my goodness, Batman's greatest foe is someone who should not be his foe.
Interesting. Well, that's the WTF covers there. And the biggest thing you should be questioning, regardless of who he's pointing the gun at, Batman is pointing a gun.
Yeah. There's your WTF.
Yes.
But again, we've got Greg Capullo, Scott Snyder. This has been a great book, as I've said many times in the past. This to me has been overall the strongest book in the New 52, and it looks like
is there Clayface in there?
We've got a backup feature with art by Alex Maleev.
Really?
Is that? Oh yeah, it looks like it.
Interesting.
So yeah, some really good stuff here. I mean, I don't know what the storyline is. Obviously, the last issue was dealing with the death of Robin, so this is things. Maybe Robin's death has pushed him over the edge. He's got a gun in his hand now. So they're really. I think they're going to use this to take Batman in some interesting places. They did a similar thing when Robin died many years ago. But as you pointed out earlier, this isn't just Robin dying. This is his son.
Correct. Which makes it totally different. I mean, it ups the stakes a bit.
So this is I think they're going to take Batman to some interesting and some dark places, which I'm fine with. Next up, Threshold presents The Hunted. As I've said before, I don't even bother reading the first story in here. It just has not grabbed me at all, even though apparently they've got the closest equivalent to the new 52's Captain Carrot with a character named K-Rot. I'm buying this for the backup feature with Larfleeze, and as soon as Larfleeze spins into his own book, I'm going to stop buying this book. But the Larfleeze stuff has been a lot of fun. It's Keith Giffen and Scott Collins.
He's a great character.
He's a great character. It's a lot of fun. He's one note, but it's a very, very funny note, and Keith Giffen can write funny.
Yes.
So he's the perfect writer for this book. The stuff that he's doing in the early part, the drama stuff, even though there's a Green Lantern in it, it just doesn't really click with me that much. So I'm buying this for half a book, but that half is at least worth me shelling out $3.99.
There you go.
Next up, we've got Ultron AU, I guess it's being called Ultron: Age of Ultron. I have no idea what this is.
Is that like an Ultron origin or something?
It's a one shot that's tying into Age of Ultron. It looks like maybe we're going to get some more background. There's characters in here I don't seem to recognize. Catherine Eminem is a good writer.
Yes.
I've never heard of this artist before, Amilcar Pina. But, like I said, I've been enjoying the Age of Ultron stuff. I've been enjoying the tie-ins that I've read. So I'll give this one a shot. Next up is something that almost made it to the top spot.
Right.
It's Avengers number 9. I thought Avengers started off a little slow. Even to the point where I was even kind of like, wow, this is not kind of what I was expecting from a Hickman book. But what I should have been expecting is he was going to start off a little slow and then just nail it.
And then get you somewhere, sure.
This has been Hickman introducing the new universe into the Marvel Universe, and it is absolutely fantastic.
Agreed.
Great, big, brainy, high-concept stuff, and that's what Hickman does better than anybody else. You put that together with the Avengers. We've got some great artwork by Dustin Weaver and Mike Deodato, both guys who've done some great. Well, Deodato's done some great Avengers stuff. Weaver was on the Shield book. We've got the introduction of the Marvel Universe version of Starbrand and Night Mask. All of this is cool. Great stuff. This was the top pick until just a second ago before we started recording, when I noticed a little something else about the top pick.
Okay.
Next up, Uncanny X-Men. This is Bendis and Chris Bachalo. This is the Cyclops team, the Magneto team, the kind of evil mutants that aren't quite so evil. In the last All-Star X-Men, we had a confrontation.
Yes.
I'm assuming we're going to get some more of that confrontation here. Some of the kids, the Jean Grey Academy have joined with Magneto.
And I'm curious who that person is that said, I'm going to go. I think it's Jean.
Did
they tell you who it is in here?
It looks like they do.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Wow, that surprises me.
I was not, that's one thing. This book you don't see it coming.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Brent Bendis is doing a great job of keeping us surprised and not going the obvious way. So good for him. Fun book. Next up, Uncanny Avengers. This is Rick Remender. Daniel Acuna takes over on art chores.
I like his stuff.
Looks like we got Thor and Apocalypse. That's going to be some nice fighting going on there. We finished up the story arc with the Red Skull taking over everybody's mind. Now we're moving on to this. Thor's not wielding Mjolnir, so I don't know if this takes place in the past, which it could because Apocalypse has been around for a while. So some interesting stuff. This has been a solid book. It's been overshadowed. Looks like they are kind of tying in. This is jumping around time here a little bit. Great artwork, really solid book. It's been overshadowed by the other Avengers stuff and the other X-Men stuff. But still, Rick Remender's doing a good job. And even though it's not quite the gem of Marvel now that I think they were hoping it would be, it's still a pretty solid book.
Sure.
So that's my stack.
All right, I guess that brings me to the top of my stack here. It was just one of those weeks where it was going to be either this or Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know? And I finally got caught up. I'm completely caught up and have read this one as well. Lion Cat's safe. If you read chapter 11, you're already aware of that. This is a really strong issue. We got Saga number 12. Just a really cool book. Introduces us to a new character and some other things. Our characters are kind of on the run. It shows a little bit of their past. Some really kind of fun, fun stuff going on. I love this book. I think the artwork is fantastic. The story, it's one of those typical Romeo and Juliet kind of deals. But, they're two people from a war that shouldn't even be going on that are now kind of caught in this thing and on the run. And now the focal point of this war that no one seems to even understand why they're fighting it anyway. We've got our one captain or commander, whatever, the guy with the TV on his head, the guy whose wife is pregnant, and something's going on with him. So weird stuff, but great writing. Brian K. Vaughan is so good, and Fiona Staples is knocking this thing out of the park. I cannot say enough good things about that book. If you're not reading it, consistently
one of the best books out there. So
read that one. I mean, knowing that those two books were out this week, you knew one of them was going to be my top pick, and I'm going with Saga 12.
My top pick is Green Lantern Corps number 19. Like I've said, I've not been as wowed by the Wrath of the First Lantern storyline, and I've not been as fond of the Green Lantern Corps segments of this.
Okay.
This wasn't going to be my top pick until I looked at the WTF and saw that we're getting Mogo back. And that's pretty much why this is my top pick. Mogo's always been one of my favorite Lanterns, even though he's not been used. And it's good that he doesn't get overused. I was actually sad when they blew him up a year ago or however long it's been. But we get him back, and that's enough to make it my top pick because I love me some Mogo. It's interesting. We did a geek fight a while back where Mogo was on the list, and somebody was like, I don't understand this whole idea of a planet being a Green Lantern. What kind of weird, freaky guy came up with that? And then I pointed out that it was Alan Moore, and he was just like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, okay.
So, yeah, great Alan Moore character.
Crazy old wizard.
A planet that's a Green Lantern. What a great idea. So even if the book's not as strong, hey, I don't care. I got my Mogo back. I got my mojo back. That's all I need.
Got your Mogo rising?
I like that better.
And with that, that is your Week in Geek.